What up, everyone? You know the vibes. What's up, ladies and gents, and non-gender conforming people? What up, Moise? Yeah, I didn't know what a white liberal was. Yeah, I've never heard of a white liberal before. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that, rather. Because it's hilarious. Word. I'm ready to. Making popcorn? Yeah. And it's funny because when I went to unfollow Sondsol on Twitch, we'll see what he was up to. Thanks, Joe. All right. Rickate. I'm guessing that's how that's pronounced. Rickate, good morning. I'm not sure what country you're from, but I appreciate you if it's morning where you are. Which flag is it? It's the Baltimore County flag. I'm from Baltimore County. Thank you. Yeah. Matter of fact, since the music just ended and I was about to get into what I was about to get into, I'll just lead off with that. Let's look at the history of this flag behind me. Lefty Twitter is fucking disintegrating. See, that's the thing. That's what's crazy is that if you asked me, there was no such thing as lefty Twitter until very recently. Oh, you're from Spain. Cool, cool, cool. Let me show you the history of Baltimore County flag. Fade runner. All right, so let's look into history of the flag. So Baltimore County surrounds the outskirts of Baltimore City here in Maryland. There's really no difference between the two. It's literally just segregation. I don't know how else to explain that. If you exist in a state that has a place that has a county and a city, the difference is probably due to segregation. There's a book called Not in My Backyard that I let my mom read or borrow that I know she has not read, but otherwise I'd show it to you on channel right now. This is why I need to stop letting people borrow my books. But yeah, there's a book called Not in My Backyard that explains the history of racist housing covenants, segregation, white flight, gentrification, redlining, blockbusting, all of that stuff that these dumbass fucking debate bros on Twitter like to pretend that I don't know anything about and they're going to educate me on because they like to bandy about terminology that they're unfamiliar with to seem smart for content. So you don't have counties, but you have provinces. Right on. I appreciate. I don't. I know very little about Spain. There was a brief moment where I had considered moving to Spain. But I know very little about Spain other than like you guys have a strong anarchist history there, which I find really cool. But anyway, here's the flag. I'll zoom in so you can see this. So this is the Baltimore County flag. In 1962, county business people recognized the need for a meaningful symbol to represent Baltimore County to the rest of the world. So it was a capitalist motivation. The businesses stuff. I like anarchists. I am a black anarchist. I don't know if that's something that Catalonia, yeah. I'm a black anarchist, and I appreciate anarchists for their anti-fascist work. But anyway, in response, the Catonsville Business Association launched a countywide contest to create an official Baltimore County flag. You're from Navarra, the best part of Spain? Right on. The contest, sanctioned by the county executive, attracted hundreds of entries from 10th, 11th, and 12th graders from 12 schools. Art teachers across the county selected the top 30, and a panel of experts in art, history, education, and business chose the winner. On September 10th, 1962, the county council named John McLemore, a 12th grade student at Parkville Senior High School, the winning designer. Today, his flag, rich in symbolism and vivid color, waves proudly above Baltimore County. The familiar Calvert colors are coupled with a plow, symbolic of the county's agricultural richness, that means slavery, and a wheel of industry, symbolic of the prominence and progress of county businesses. That means wage slavery. The design proudly represents the county's economic strength and diversity as well as its historic significance. So let's go back to... Oh, sheesh. Here we go. The county flag, heavily ridiculed, still adopted, because that didn't quite... What's up, Vet? That didn't quite tell the full story, because the flag was not... the flag was not really readily adopted. So, looks much like European heraldry. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there is a lot of that in the flags in America because of European colonization and imperialism. So, a lot of that is going to appear in early flags in America. So, we already know the backstory. John McLemore won the contest. That was his flag, and he was awarded a $100 U.S. savings bond, which is sheesh. Having entirely forgotten about the event, the councilman appeared shocked when the winning flag was unfurled. Apparently, in the midst of their election campaigns, the executive and councilman had both overlooked the ongoing contest. This project was apparently forgotten. Many of the councilmen also were seeking re-election. So they were literally too busy fucking grifting to realize that they had this contest going on, right? Despite their absent-mindedness, all except one of the councilmen publicly ridiculed the high school students' winning design. If only those judges had been at the county council session yesterday and heard what each councilman, with the exception of Mr. Dignan, said right out loud. Referring to the red plow on a white background in the right corner, one cried, "That plow is too big. Besides, they are not using that kind much." At the bottom left, a wheel cog, red on white, was announced as too communistic looking, which is part of the reason why I like the flag in the first place. "It's a hell of a looking flag," cried a councilman. "It's miserable, a monstrosity," cried another. "I think it's a real pretty flag," said Mr. Dignan. "I'm not going to vote to adopt such a thing," asserted another. Mr. Dignan, who realized his bill for approval was doomed if a vote were taken, declined to call for a vote. He would seek the support of two absent councilmen. Perhaps notably, the councilman expressed sympathy for the feelings of the Parkville High School student. The Jeffersonian reported the county council, without casting a single ballot, this week rejected a proposed official flag for Baltimore County. They did so with ridicule. In his statement, Mr. Call criticized what he called unbelievable and regrettable behavior on the part of certain members of the council. "It is beyond my comprehension that public officials could and would ridicule the work of the talented young man who drew the winning design," he said. The Jeffersonian reported County Executive Call's comments, "I feel the deepest embarrassment for young McLemore for the unfair and unjust criticism and mortification he has been forced to endure, and I feel embarrassment also for the council members who sounded off and by so doing publicly exhibited their own blatant disregard for many hours of concentrated effort put forth by so many to bring this important civic protection to fruition. I had originally considered adoption of the flag by the executive order I am now exercising under provisions of the county charter, but thought the legislative arm of government would appreciate and seize upon the opportunity to participate and join with me in hailing the result of such a county-wide effort, one which was initiated by a Catonsville business group and which drew widespread support from students, teachers, parents, and individual citizens in virtually every section of the county. And yeah, so they had to ratify the flag through executive order. And there's a lot of people that refuse to fly it after the fact, and there's still people still have no clue what this flag is because that's how little known it is, because nobody liked it at the time. And yeah, I have not, when I Googled Baltimore County flag, I'm 32. I've lived in Baltimore County for 30 years. Literally, I've lived in Baltimore County for 30 fucking years. When I Googled Baltimore County flag, at the beginning of this year, that flag right there, that was the first time I'd ever seen that flag. That was the first time I'd ever been made aware of that flag's existence. So that was kind of nuts. So on that note, I know we were going to talk about, I'm going to talk about some debate bro vibes. Before I get into that, I want to do the news, but just out of curiosity, I want to see what Sondsol is up to. What is Sondsol doing?
I think songwriting, when I first
he's live. What is he doing? What's he up to? It's an ad. We'll wait till this ad finishes and I'll put you back in. Why do I like anarchy? So, I'll get into that in a second. Let's see what Sondsol is up to first.
What I don't know, right? I understand that. What I don't know is if that is like not standard practice or not. You know, like if that's standard practice, if that's how they would like introduce themselves to another doctor or like to a bunch of like
in the professional world, I've never seen that. You put the school
I don't know
in your resume. You put the school that you went to.
Well, no,
well, yeah, but like it's just like at least most resumes I've dealt with, even on LinkedIn and shit, you see like the school.
So they're talking about shit that's completely fucking meaningless. Surprise, surprise. Okay. Anyway, so it's all good, Fet. Thanks, Fet. So anarchism. The reason why I like anarchism, and specifically black anarchism, but global anarchism. Anarchism to me is the natural state of humanity. I would strongly recommend reading Peter Kropotkin's Mutual Aid if you were super into heady theory type shit like that. But essentially, if you're not, if I could sum it up, it is essentially, we all are familiar with the idea of Darwinism, survival of the fittest, the most fit for survival, the ones who will survive, right? And sometimes fascists like to apply that to humans with what they call social Darwinism, which is really just fascism, right? But mutual aid is essentially the opposite of that, right? Mutual aid states that the reason why humans have survived for so long, and the thing that exists not just in humans but amongst other animals as well, is a thing called yes, Kevin FM, is a thing called mutual aid, whereby essentially you benefit from cooperating with others, right? On a social Darwinist vibes, if you think you're an apex predator and you think you're fit and you're going to survive, why don't you grab a knife, grab an AR-15 and a bottle of water, and I'll drop you in the middle of the Florida Everglades. You will be, a crocodile will be shitting you out by sunrise, right? That's not how people work, right? When you want to do things like irrigate a crop, right? Divert a river, right? Carve a path through or around a mountain, right? You're not going to do that by yourself. You need other people to help you do that kind of stuff. And if you work together with your community to do things like raise crops, hunt, raise children, those types of things are intrinsically beneficial to the group as a whole. That's called mutual aid. People are stronger together. Yes. Yes. If I could quote some fashy shit, if I could quote CTV, the strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack is the wolf, right? It's literally the most successful method. Yes. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. So that's mutual aid, and that's what anarchism is to me. The word anarchy literally refers to, like, it literally means against archon, so against authority, and to me that means things like cis heteronormativity. So it's an ideology that directly challenges homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, racism, sexism, colorism, all of these social ills that we have in our society, just as a matter of reaction, right? Not to use the word reactionary, but like, so black anarchism to me is the just when African people were enslaved and brought here to the United States, we did all sorts of things to reject that hegemony, right? We ran away, we formed our own communities, we formed maroon camps. Some people talked about being part indigenous or having indigenous heritage last night on the Black History Month panel. I also have some indigenous heritage. There's a book I'm gonna show you. I showed this book to people on screen last night, but it's called Black Indians, and it talks a lot about what the early African enslaved people did when they first were brought here. Because a lot of they tried to enslave the indigenous people here first, and they couldn't, because you couldn't fucking kidnap someone and make them a slave when they were 30 minutes away from their fucking house. They would just run away and go home, right? That's part of the reason why they brought the African people here in the first place. But when we would run away, we would form maroon camps and intermarry and mix with the indigenous people here. And of course, if you are a hotep, like some people are, you might be under the impression that African people had arrived to this continent and intermixed with the indigenous people here centuries ago. But speaking specifically from that point of view, we traded culture. There was some cultural cross-pollination between the black people and indigenous people here, with their anarchist culture, their desire to buck hegemony from settler and from the settlers and imperialist, colonialist European nations, and we showed them like martial arts, some of our martial arts, and some of our guerrilla warfare. Punji pits, the where you fucking get sharp sticks and cover them with shit and put it in a pit and cover the pit up so that if an enemy legion or platoon is walking through a path and one of them falls in the pit, it might not kill whoever falls in there, but it's going to slow down the entire troop of soldiers because they're going to have to tend to that one soldier who's critically injured by that event, right? Also, most of the population died from disease in the first 100 years after contact. Very sad. Yes, that's also true, which is why I get so fucking mad when people talk about missionaries and so on and so forth now in the modern day who want to go to like the Sentinel Islands and shit. There was actually specifically an island recently where it was an island untouched by a man, and some fucking goofball like Mormon missionaries or something went there, and they ended up giving everybody COVID and killing a bunch of people. But anyway. That's anarchism to me. Is just anarchism to me is the natural state of humanity. Black anarchism to me is a desire to return to pre-colonial society, like a pre-colonial social structure, the shit that we had that worked before the white man came and put us in chains and brought us here. So with that said, let's talk about the news really quick, and then we can get into this Twitter streamer debate bro drama bullshit with how these motherfuckers would rather go back and forth with me for a week as opposed to talking about Amir Locke, who was killed in cold blood, gunned down by police. Ooh, I have some messages in my Discord that I have not yet seen. Okay, sorry. I had to respond to some messages. So anyway, let's start off with some Amir Locke related news. Actually, we'll do that last. Let's do that last because that'll segue into the CTV shit. Yeah, there is no other Locke but John. Yeah, motherfucker. And I'll get into it because Sondsol tried to come at me like I thought I was playing 4D chess because I said all of my moves in that situation were calculated because they were. And low-key, I was playing 4D chess, and I took your queen, and I'm about to cut the head off your king. Because you played right into my fucking hand. And I'll explain that at the end of this news. So let's talk about something that you guys might have seen on like TikTok and Instagram and so on and so forth. There was a fist fight at a mall. This is a prime demonstration right here of the school to prison pipeline that Stardust infamously talked about on our first panel, where she stated quite vociferously that we should get rid of the school to prison pipeline, but the part of it that she had a problem with was the fact that it took too long to lock black kids up. Go figure. So let's watch this because this is important. And it's not super graphic. It's not black people getting killed or whatever. It's black people getting locked up. So, you know, I don't know. If anybody's triggered by it, let me know and I'll cut it off. But I feel like it's kind of important to see, to demonstrate this. So,
two teens at the Bridgewater Commons Mall Saturday evening that goes from tense words to throwing punches.
You see the white kid fighting the black kid.
The other into a couch.
He was kind of saying like, you're a little kid, and you're my little pet and stuff like that. Whatever I tell you to do, you to do.
14-year-old Kai says the argument started when he says he stood up to the older boy for picking on his.
And let me also point out right here that the infantilization of black people, referring to black men as boys, has historical context in the United States of America. It's very fucking racist. It's very transparent. And people do it all the fucking time and pretend like they didn't mean that by it. I didn't mean it like that. Sure you didn't.
14-year-old Kai says the argument started when he says he stood up to the older boy for picking on his friend, who's only in 7th grade. But he says he never expected it to turn violent or to end up on the ground handcuffed with a knee in his back, another on his neck, after 2 police officers broke up the fight.
I was like calm about it because I knew like not to be scared, to just stay like calm and not move, just do what they tell me to do.
Video of
That's
the
so
incident
sad.
started getting
That's so
attention
fucking
on
sad.
social media when people saw the other teen appear to be left alone by responding.
Look, and he's just sitting. He's
Kai was restrained.
Yo, it's because he's black. Racially motivated.
right, racially motivated.
Bridgewater police say we recognize that this video has made members of our community upset and are calling for an internal affairs investigation.
It can take 2 cops to
Oh,
a
yeah.
14-year-old boy down who's not.
Yeah, internal affairs. The police investigated themselves, and after a long and thorough investigation, found themselves guilty of no wrongdoing. Surprise, surprise. Let's see. I promise you that's what's about to happen. Nothing will happen to either one of these police officers. You will see them on the street in 2 weeks. I promise you.
It can take 2 cops to hold a 14-year-old boy down who's not resisting, while the other boy is just kind of going free and still going off on my son. It just doesn't make sense.
Meanwhile, Kai's mother outraged at what happened, while also proud of Kai for standing up for his friend. Her son now banned from the mall for the next 3 years.
What? Hold up. And they banned him from the mall? Bruh. Come on now.
While it's unclear if the other teen is facing any punishment.
Of course.
That we are constantly having to fear the cops. Yeah, I'm just glad it happened where there were a whole bunch of eyes on the situation, because
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know what would have happened.
Oh yeah.
I'm just grateful.
Hell yeah. I'm glad. It's fucked up that it happened, but I'm glad it happened in the middle of the mall like that, because y'all already know what would happen if that was in like a back alley or something crazy like that, right? So I don't think I really need to read all this. Y'all saw what happened. Unclear your ass? Yeah, exactly, DC Metal Chris. And of course, the governor is going to do his usual fucking PR, fucking public relations bullshit. Although an investigation is still gathering the facts about this incident, like you can't see what the fuck happened on the video. I'm deeply disturbed by what appears to be racially disparate treatment in this video. We're committed to increasing trust between law enforcement and the people they serve. Yeah, okay, bud. All right, buddy. Sure. Fucking Paul Blart bullshit. No, they weren't even, well, they were real cops. They were real ass, regular schmegular ass cops, I believe. Yeah, it was NJPD. No, those were regular schmegular cops. They were real full on actual cops. Yeah, they were just regular pigs. They weren't LARP pigs. They were full on pigs. So here we go. Let's talk about Ahmaud Arbery, because some pretty fucking nuts details about that case have come out. And it's at this point that I would like to point out that all of the people defending Kyle Rittenhouse and comparing Kyle Rittenhouse to Ahmaud Arbery and saying, like, if Ahmaud Arbery had been, carrying a gun and had shot the people that killed him, that would have been self-defense too. You're a fucking idiot, right? And I'm going to show you why here now. Okay? Because it was not a fucking equal. There was no, and I mean absolutely no aspect of those two situations that are remotely fucking similar. So let's get into this. Federal prosecutors on Wednesday moved to buttress their hate crimes case over the killing of Ahmaud Arbery by introducing more than 24 racist messages and social media posts sent by the men convicted of his murder. FBI intelligence analyst Amy Vaughn read to the jury messages taken from the cell phones of Travis McMichael, who fatally shot Arbery, and William Roddy Bryan, who filmed the shooting. Travis McMichael regularly referred to black people as savages and monkeys and often associated them with criminal activity in online posts and messages with friends. On March 16, 2019, almost a year before Arbery's death, McMichael exchanged texts with someone identified only as HB, who texted that he went bar hopping the previous evening but complained he had encountered too many black people. They ruin everything, McMichael responded, according to Vaughn. That's why I love what I do. Not an N-word in sight. And of course, he didn't say N-word. He spelled out the actual word. On January 21st, 2019, McMichael and a friend identified as NJ were about to meet at a Cracker Barrel. And this is why, Cracker Barrel is one of the most racist fucking places on earth for several reasons. But here you go. When NJ texted he had parked and saw a number of black people there, said Vaughn. Need to change the name from Cracker Barrel to N-word bucket, McMichael replied. Imagine that. Other messages sent on February 11th, 2019 included a conversation between McMichael and a friend that included a photo of a man who appeared to be disabled. The man was wearing a jersey that read, "At least I'm not an N-word." And that gets into what we were talking about on the Black History Month panel about anti-blackness, right? Is that the class thing doesn't matter, right? You could have someone that has identical experiences to you or worse experiences than you. Myself is a prime example. I had a partner who had a father who had threatened to kill me, all this crazy shit, right? He was a literal homeless drug addict, right? And that's not a knock on him. That's not, everyone deserves respect and decency and love and all that stuff, right? But it's saying, I'm literally like a 21-year-old pizza driver just trying to make it in the world. And this dude was some fucking like 50, 60 something year old Italian man pressed trying to fucking kill me because I dared to have an intimate relationship with his daughter, right? And, you know, that family, like, I don't know. It was frustrating to me that, and that's when I truly realized, like, this guy has no self-awareness whatsoever, and none of these people have any self-awareness. And this is truly what anti-blackness is. This is what white supremacy is. It's a way for lower class and bottom class white people to feel superior. Everybody, like, white supremacy is a luxury item. You know what I mean? White supremacy is a luxury item. Anyway. Also collected from the 36-year-old social media accounts was a video of a black child dancing on the daytime show Ellen. The sound on the video had been edited and dubbed over with the song Alabama N-Word, which included disparaging lyrics about black people, of course. And it's at this point that I also like to point out that fucking sock dems are fucking stupid people. And so are liberals. Because you do not get rid of these people by voting. Period. Sure, you can say that they're going to jail for life, blah, 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 but a man is dead. Ahmaud Arbery will never come back. His family will never see him again. His family will never hear his laugh, right? But, you know, just vote. If you get killed by racist dipshits, if you get lynched, it's because you didn't vote hard enough, right? If the police fucking murder you and get away with it, it's because you didn't vote hard enough. Liberals, sock dems, whatever the fuck you want to call yourselves, you are the most cowardly people in America. Because at least conservatives and right-wingers and so on and so forth, they have the fucking gall to say what they believe with their chest. They don't fucking like black people. They don't fucking like poor people, right? And they might beat around the bush with how they say that, but they'll tell you up front. You motherfuckers, at best, want all the same things that I want, but you are deathly afraid to put in the actual fucking work required to get it. So you want to vote to get people like me to do it for you. Even though I'm the one that I'm one of the people that we're supposed to be doing this shit for in the first place. You'd listen to me, but you need my voter registration card? Yeah, Miracle Mush. You got to make sure I know what a white liberal is, because I don't know what I'm talking about, clearly. So you shouldn't listen to me about anything political ever. Anyway. Vaughn said the FBI was unable to... I know, Miracle Moist. I know. It's always jokes. Trust me, like, I can read people that I've spent decent amount of time with, like, even online, fairly well. You've been in my community for a minute, or rather, I can't even say that, because this isn't, like, my community. We're literally just the only fucking based people in the space, so we have to orbit each other. Like, that's kind of how it is. It's just like we were saying last night, when black people touch a space, that space becomes black, and everyone vacates, right? So we have to orbit each other. It's the same thing with real leftists. If you're a real leftist, if you're a real Marxist-Leninist Maoist, if you're a real communist, if you're a real anarchist, right? You're going to get dismissed as a crazy fucking tanky and accused of clout chasing and being pretentious. That's just how it is. And that's why we all fucking know each other and support each other's streams and shit now, because who the fuck else will? And I'm going to get into that and why people call these people feds. I want to get way into that, but we got time. I'm going to get through the news first. How long is this? Not that long. Okay. McMichael, his father Greg McMichael, and Brian were convicted last fall in a state court trial of the murder of Arbery on February 23, 2020. The three men are now on trial in federal court charged with hate crimes. Vaughn said the FBI was unable to get messages from Greg McMichael's iPhone because agents couldn't crack its password. Still, the FBI was able to uncover a racist post he made on Facebook depicting black people as lazy and looking for government handouts. Wild. And first of all, you can't call the people who made $7 trillion fucking dollars to get this country founded, right? All that wealth that was generated through cotton, rice, cabbage, tobacco, sugar, right? All that work that we fucking did for free, that you and your grandpappy and your papa, your meemaw can fucking have nice houses and segregated homes and shit in, that came off the fruits of our fucking labor. So don't you fucking dare call us lazy, and don't you dare call us looking for government handouts when y'all owe us that money. That was our fucking money. Because not only did we generate that fucking wealth in the very beginning, the greatest fucking cultural exports that America has given the rest of the world and continue to profit off of and commodify are things that black people have produced as a product of our fucking pain and suffering. So if you call black people lazy and looking for government handouts, you're a fucking idiot and you're a racist piece of shit. Vaughn said agents were able to access Brian's cell phone and found that he sent racist messages, including sarcastic and vile remarks about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 2019 and 2020. Vaughn noted that someone identified as PT messaged Brian that he must be taking off from work to be the Grand Marshal of the MLK Day Parade. The joke, I think, is that he would never do that because he doesn't care for black people or MLK Day, Vaughn said. On MLK Day in 2019, Brian responded, "I'm working so all the M-words can take the day off," according to messages shown to jurors. The following year, Brian messaged PT about the monkey parade over there on Gloucester Street, one of the routes for the MLK Day parade in downtown Brunswick, Vaughn said. And it's at that point I'd also like to note that lots of places were closed on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. My place of business was not closed. I decided to take the day off anyway, even though I knew they weren't going to pay me for that, which is sus, but I'm not going to do that here. Derek Thomas, Travis McMichael's close friend from high school, testified Wednesday about some of their conversations on social media. Weeks before Arbery's death, Thomas sent McMichael a viral video showing a black man playing a prank on a white man in a mall. "I'd kill that expletive N-word," Travis McMichael responded, Thomas testified. Wow. On cross-examination, McMichael's lawyer, Amy Lee Copeland, asked Thomas, "Is it fair to say you love the man, but you hated the words he used?" "Yes, ma'am," Thomas said. Another of McMichael's posts seemed to celebrate violence against Black Lives Matter protesters. In others, he advocated harming black people seen breaking the law in news reports and viral videos. "These thugs need to be taught a lesson," he wrote. "I would beat those monkeys to death." Damn, is this Destiny? Are we listening to, are we reading some Destiny transcripts right now? Copeland argued that portions of the prosecution's evidence lacked context. And she had some of the. Isn't that what they always say? Isn't that the argument for Joe Rogan right now? Is that him, the compilation, the highlight reel of him saying the N-word like 30 fucking times is taken out of context? Like, why does that white people's go to? Just don't say it. Just don't say it. It's that simple. But anyway. Apparently, Monkey Parade needs context. Yeah, exactly. Copeland, you can't hear the inflection of the voice. You can't tell what's going on. Oh yeah, he was calling the JCPenney a monkey parade as a joke, right? He was being ironically racist. It was ironic racism. That's why he kept doing it over and over again and consistently with multiple different people. Outside the courtroom, members of Ahmaud Arbery's family said they were disgusted. "I ain't really in shock," said Marcus Arbery, his father. "I knew all that hate was in those men. It's hard, but I'm just glad the world can see this." He said the toughest part of the afternoon's evidence was the video shared by Travis of the black child dancing on Ellen. "How you hate a little baby because he's black?" Arbery asked. "That's his sickness." Arbery's aunt, Diane Arbery Jackson, used a tissue to wipe away tears. "It just hurt so bad. I didn't know this was still going on. We've got to be better than this." And that's if I could talk about black people for a second, we really, and it's really crazy to me that the elders don't understand the world that we still live in, right? These people did not go away. These people just learned to hide their power level, right? Ironic racism is people who torture their black friends with shitty jokes. Ironic racism is just racism. Let's not beat around the bush with that. So that's that. Let's see what else we got up next. Got some Derek Chauvin and George Floyd news, naturally. I guess one of the officers got mad that he was asked a relevant question, just like a lot of these fucking debate bro streamers on Twitter. Cross-examination of Tu Tao got tense Wednesday as the ex-officer snapped at the prosecutor for asking why he didn't tell Derek Chauvin to get off George Floyd's neck and back during the 9 minutes and 29 seconds. I think I would trust a 19-year veteran to figure it out, Tao said on the stand. Tao was one of the 3 officers, including J. Alexander Kung and Thomas Lane, standing trial in federal court for violating Floyd's civil rights. And remember what we said last night about whiteness simply being your distance from blackness, right? Those are 2 Asian men, right? All 3 are, I'm sorry, Kung sounds Asian to me. That might be racist. That's probably racist. I don't care. You guys are fucking pigs. You're not human beings to me. So you don't get extended the same rights and benefits that I would extend to people. All 3 are each charged with deprivation of rights under color of law as Chauvin restrained Floyd. Tao and Kung are also charged with willfully failing to intervene in Chauvin's use of unreasonable force, resulting in Floyd's death. The 3 have pleaded not guilty to the federal charges and are being tried together. Chauvin admitted guilt in December as part of a plea deal. All 3 former officers will face a state trial later this year on charges of aiding and abetting in Floyd's murder. Excuse me. Kung and Tao told U.S. District Judge Paul Magnuson on Monday they planned to testify in their own defense. Lane, the rookie officer who held down Floyd's legs during the fatal restraint, told the judge Tuesday that he also planned to take the stand. His attorney, Earl Gray, had told Magnuson a day earlier he wanted to speak with Lane about it before giving a final decision. Kung is expected to take the stand after Tao. Kung is Asian? Okay, thank you, Alex Roivas. Bell also asked Tao if he knew when Floyd stopped breathing, but defense attorney Robert Paul objected to the question. It was one of a dozen objections during Wednesday morning's cross-examination. Bell seemingly became frustrated at the number of times she had to pause and rephrase her questions due to the number of objections. Did you hear him talking during the 5th minute or not? Bell pressed. It's a possibility, Tao said. When asked if he could confirm if he noticed Floyd's eyes were closed, Tao said he couldn't tell. Bell continued, like, dog, you knew when he was dead. You knew when he was out. He was screaming, he was crying, he was begging for his life. You knew when he was gone. This is nuts. Bell continued asking Tao about his knowledge of Floyd's medical condition, of which Paul continued to vehemently object. Of course. During redirect, Paul asked Tao why he thought it was necessary to restrain Floyd. Tao said that one of the purposes for restraining Floyd was to protect him from potentially getting up and injuring himself or bystanders, adding the measure was partly done to save his life. Oh, of course, yeah. We killed him to save his life, yeah. Were your intentions in any way to cause Mr. Floyd harm? Paul asked. Oh no, Tao responded, yeah. We weren't trying to harm him when we handcuffed him and kneeled on his back and neck. We were just trying to help him. We were trying to save his life by kneeling on his fucking neck. Defense attorneys also called Tao's wife, Sheng Yang, to testify later Wednesday morning. Why? For what? For fucking what? Yang told the jury her husband had never gotten into trouble before with the law and that Tao had never even received a parking ticket. Who fucking cares? Who gives a flying flaming fuck? After Bell objected to the relevance of the questioning, Judge Magnuson instructed Paul to move on, saying, we aren't going into speeding tickets, I assure you of that. Ooh, get that ass fucking clapped. During his testimony Tuesday, Tao testified that an officer using their knee to restrain a suspect was taught at the police academy. He also said he assumed other officers were taking care of Floyd while he was helping control the crowd. Paul showed the jury several photographs from Tao's time in the police academy that pictured instructors using their knees to subdue and arrest subjects during training exercises. Calling one such photo a handcuffing drill, Tao said it was common practice to be taught how to subdue people in a prone position while using a knee to control the person. Do you see if those 2 officers are using their knees? Paul asked Tao. They are, Tao responded. One photo showed a use of force instructor smiling while his knee is on the neck of the subject in the exercise. Is this something that was typically taught at the academy while you were there? Paul continued. Yes, Tao responded. And at this point, I would like to reiterate that all cops are bastards. All of them. I don't care if it's your brother, your father, your nephew, your uncle, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband. All cops, especially them, especially the people that you love, they are bastards. They are pigs. When asked why a knee would be used in the exercises, Tao said it was to prevent them from rolling around or get up. Like, you can't just do that with your hands when they're already on the ground getting handcuffed. During the incident that led to Floyd's death, Tao testified that even though he had been waved off from responding to the scene after other officers had arrived, he decided to continue assisting. Because that's what police do. They sit out there fucking bored. They don't have shit to do aside from harass black people and poor people. So that's why when you see someone get pulled over for speeding or something, there's like 4 fucking police cars behind them because they're bored as shit and they don't do fuck all, right? From my experience, Cup Foods is hostile to police, he told the jury. It's a well-known Bloods gang hangout. Okay, dude. Let's go ahead and fucking just profile, right? Let's profile that shit. Tao said he thought it was obvious Floyd was under the influence of drugs or alcohol, partly because he was very sweaty. Yeah. Like the fact that it was in fucking July or August was not, you know what I mean? Nobody sweats in the summer. Sweating in the summertime? Pff, who does that? As the scene grew more tense and chaotic, Tao testified his role shifted to becoming a human traffic cone, ensuring that cars would not hit the officers and the ambulance that had been called could easily spot them. I knew the crowd was starting to gather up and cause issues, Tao said. At that point, I have a different role, which is to do crowd control to allow them to attend to Mr. Floyd. Juror dismissed due to stomach flu. A juror was dismissed Wednesday because they had contracted the stomach flu or had eaten something and as a result is ill, Judge Magnuson said. The juror was one of the 5 alternates, court spokeswoman Rebecca Parks confirmed to CNN. The 12-juror panel is still comprised of 5 men and 7 women. There are now 4 alternates, 1 man and 3 women. This is the 2nd juror to be dismissed in the case. Last week, a juror was released after disclosing that his son is dealing with a serious mental health issue. I hope they get well soon and that they get the mental health care that George Floyd was not given. So that's all of my anti-police agitprop for today. For now, at least, anyway. Until we get to this fucking debate bro Twitter beef. So this is about COVID and the disastrous fucking lifting of mask mandates. I just opened this out of curiosity. I don't think I'm gonna really get into this. I guess people are still mostly wearing masks, which is encouraging. You should still be wearing masks. There's still almost a 9/11 worth of deaths a day in this country due to COVID. Children under 5 can still not be vaccinated. They cannot get the vaccine. So if you give COVID to a baby, they will get clapped, potentially. And if not, they will get long COVID, even if they survive. And why the fuck would you do that to children? Oh, I know why you do that to children. Capitalism. Because no one gives a fuck about children, right? So there's that. I brought this up, I brought it up just because the headline was funny as shit to me. I don't really care about it. I'm probably not going to read it, but this was mad funny. The jurors in Sarah Palin's defamation suit against the New York Times knew the judge was going to dismiss the fucking claims before they did. That shit is fucking hilarious to me. Fuck Sarah Palin. Literally, I'm trying to see what's up with it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to see what that looked like. And I guess we got some Reuters manufacturing of consent talking about how Russia's military buildup near Ukraine is growing and not shrinking. There's a growing, I guess, military presence at Ukraine's borders. For anyone who doesn't know, Vladimir Putin is pump faking like he's about to invade Ukraine. The reason for that being that Ukraine is a buffer state between Russia and NATO, and if Ukraine joins NATO, then NATO will be right in Russia's backyard, and that ain't good. So, yeah, it's just a lot of saber rattling on both sides, but I don't think anything's actually going to pop off. But here's where you'll hear me say something that a lot of people are uncomfortable saying. I don't fucking know. I'm not from Russia. I don't know anyone from Russia. I have a homie that's from Estonia. We haven't talked in a minute. I don't fucking know. I don't know what's going to happen. Ukraine also has oil. That too. That doesn't surprise me. But with that said, I don't fucking know. And I don't care. Right? Because if they start up the draft, I'm not fucking going anyway. Mutually assured destruction seems pretty evident at this point in history. I mean, low key. It sucks because of how close I live to DC, and I know Russia's nukes are a little brazy, you feel me? So I got a feeling I would be incinerated if some shit actually popped off. But aside from that, it is what it is. And here... Sorry, I'm stretch out a little bit. Here we get to our last piece of news, which will segue into the Twitter beef, the e-beef, you know what I'm saying? The bishop of the church hosting Amir Locke's funeral says that Mayor Frey won't be there and the MPD leadership is not welcome. Got to get limber for the Twitter segment? Oh, yeah, because I'm going to be I need to start doing calisthenics because I'm going to be firing. I'm going to be firing on some people. You're going to see me get a little litty up here. DC probably wouldn't be the first target in a nuke war. Yeah, I see them catching... If I had to pick a target, I would... And there's, like, lots of people that are concerned about, like, stochastic terrorism or like quote unquote terrorists fucking doing this with a dirty bomb, but New York City, I think that would be like attacking Wall Street and then attacking any major like production places in America. So like Rivian plants, like any type of like Amazon factories, warehouses and shit, all those would get nuked. When the U.S. bombed Japan, they didn't go for Tokyo. They went for places that made steel and manufacturing. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, DC Metal Chris. Yeah, exactly. They would go for probably Wall Street and then the very fucking few production plants that we actually have here in America. They would, Detroit and Pittsburgh would be first. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I feel like they would nail power grids too. So they would aim for like Texas and Cali, and they would nail a lot of the power grids, which would suck, but it is what it is. So anyway, let's talk about this. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey will not be attending Thursdays. I'm going to blow this up so y'all can read with me. Justice for Amir Locke. Say his name. His name was Amir Locke. He was killed in cold blood. Black Lives Matter. Black Trans Lives Matter. Die mad about it. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey will not be attending Thursday's funeral for Amir Locke, the man who was fatally shot by police early this month in a downtown apartment. And the bishop officiating the service said the city's police department leadership should also not attend. He was only 22, bro. The 22-year-old Locke will be eulogized during the funeral at Shiloh Temple International Ministries on West Broadway in North Minneapolis, where noted civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, will give the eulogy. I'm like, okay, this is cool and everything, but I'm really, really tired of Al Sharpton and his race hustling. Shiloh Temple Bishop Richard Howell Jr. said someone from Frey's office called him Tuesday with his decision. He is not coming, Howell said. He's respecting the family's wishes unless there's an invitation. It doesn't seem like he's going to get an invitation. The service is open to the public. Good. He shouldn't be there, and the fucking pigs should not be there. So, I may be broadcasting. We'll see how it plays out. I want to broadcast that. I know Aston Mack will be doing coverage of it tomorrow. If you're not already following Aston Mack, make sure to follow Aston Mack. He does excellent work and is an excellent orator. So now, without further ado, speaking of Amir Locke, let's talk about some things. Thank you, Frackle, for linking him. Oh boy, this is about to be it. This is about to be a thing. Okay, so to set the stage, and I have to preface this with the fact that thank you everyone on Facebook. I just realized I didn't put on multi-stream chat, so I didn't. If you're commenting on Facebook, sorry, I haven't read what you said. It's okay, Frackle. I don't expect anyone to do anything but chill on here, listen, and if you want to participate, I'd love that. But I understand that a lot of what people do is just put the shit on in the background and listen, and that's cool. So, to set the stage so you properly understand where I'm coming from on this, for those who are not aware, I have been streaming, as in my Twitch account has been in existence since the year 2013, right? It might be 2014. So my Twitch account is almost a decade old. It's coming up. I personally have been consuming political content online since the year, I would say, probably the election cycle where I really started to get into shit was probably in 2008. I was really into metal. I was in a band that had a forum that was on a message board with a bunch of other conservative metalheads, and every day there was a fucking back and forth about how much Obama sucked and how great John McCain was, right? And because I wanted to be one of the boys, I did the same. I talked about how Obama sucked and he wasn't great and blah, 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 blah. With no frame of reference, right? Like, obviously, we know Obama sucks now. Like, he sucks. That's not up for debate. But before he was even in office, I was on that time because I was cooning. So that's when I first started to get into political content on YouTube, right? The year 2008, 2009, 2010, I was consuming, like a lot of other people, the atheism plus content, we'll say, right? People like Amazing Atheist, Captain Awesome, Pat Condell, Thunderfoot, all these old YouTube names. They think he sucked for opposite reasons? Yes, absolutely. They think Obama sucked because he was a Kenyan communist? Yeah, exactly. Aaron Ra, you hated Pat Condell? See, I was I was the most obnoxious fucking atheist imaginable. I wanted to debate. Whoops. I wanted to debate everyone. Like, I was convinced, like, if you're not an atheist, you're fucking stupid. I'm gonna make fun of you for it, right? Hang on. Okay. So, naturally, my evolution of the Destiny vibes, right? I wanted to be most correct. That was my sole motivation for my interest in politics and such. I just wanted to be the most correct, which is the weirdest and most myopic imaginable shit, right? Because you leave yourself open to confirmation bias there. But anyway, I got into Occupy, and I had participated in some Occupy Baltimore things. Or rather, I had been present for some Occupy Baltimore things. I had participated in some action online for Occupy Wall Street. I still have, what's her name? Alexa, I think it was Alexa O'Brien in my Skype, because that's how deep in the game I was. I had feds in my Skype that I knew were feds, but I was just kind of like, I don't know what to do with these people, right? You're only that way against conservatives because their God sucks. There's no such thing as Christianity as a singular concept. There's multiple adaptations of Christianity, and the ones conservatives tout fucking sucks. True. But let me keep going. So my perspective started to twist to the left a little bit, especially because what I was talking about earlier. This was the same period of time that I dated that girl who had the fucking homeless drug addict father who wanted to kill me just because I was black. So because I had that going on, I was also involved in Occupy stuff with the anarchist vibes before I really had a frame of reference for anarchism, right? My only frame of reference for anarchism as an actual philosophy was, and you guys are going to cringe when I say this, Stefan Molyneux. Stefan Molyneux's The Story of Your Enslavement was like bars to me when I was like 20 years old, 21 years old, right? But then I discovered through the Satanic International Network, believe it or not, I discovered actual philosophical anarchism, which is where I discovered like Peter Kropotkin, Emma Goldman, the Spanish anarchists, right? All this stuff. Stefan Molly meme, yes. So I started to turn left a little bit. And included in that was my consumption of content from people like The Skeptical Heretic, Rith Rindell. I forget the dude's name was he was a scientist, but his name was like something Badger, Tool Time. All of these people who were the vanguard of debate bros, right? These are people who would do back then, before Twitch, the format, instead of live debate, the format was you write an essay, right? And then you put that on YouTube, and then the person you're debating with makes a response video. This is where I first got involved in the race realist argument, right? This is where I first heard of Ryan Falk, aka Fringe Elements, aka Alternative Hypothesis. Mind you, this is the year 2011, so over a decade ago. Keep that in mind. Not only have I been a nigga my whole life, not only have I spent the last 5 years literally fist fighting Nazis, well, TOS. I've spent the last 5 years engaged in actual anti-fascism in the real world in meat space. I have the injuries to prove it. On top of that, I've literally been consuming that specific content for over a decade, right? So that's my history with that. I knew that I was interested in that kind of content, and I knew I wanted to be a content creator who did that kind of stuff, but I had no frame of reference at the time. I didn't have a camera or anything like that. And even though the content that I consumed, a lot of it, YouTube wise, was just people talking directly into the camera on a phone or whatever, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make mine a little bit more productive or have the better production. So I never got in the game then. So I started doing the Twitch thing. Excuse me. At the time, I had a friend who had an HD PVR on his Xbox 360 and would stream and put clips on Twitch from his 360 from his HD PVR back in I want to say 2011, 2012. Not long after this period of time, during the same period of time that I was getting into the race realist debates and all that stuff. A few years later, the PS4 drops, and then in 2014, I make a Twitch. I start just going live, right? I do what I feel like a lot of people do with this platform, where they have no direction, they have no schedule, they have no like sense of what actually makes content valuable, right? They just know that there's a platform that has streamers on it, and they say, "Oh, I could play video games live," and they just play like they just suck at Madden or something in complete fucking silence for one viewer or two viewer forever, right? I was doing that random as hell. What up, Binks? Yes, that Twitter thread is insane. I'm getting into that right now, actually. You came right at the right moment. So, I was involved in Twitch in that regard for a while. I had started getting serious about streaming, I would say in 2018 or 2019, in terms of which thread. There's a bunch of them. Yeah. But anyway, 2018, 2019, I decided I was going to start like try to engage, because this is around the time that let me back up a little bit, because around 2016 2017 is when I first found like Destiny and Vosh and so on, because I was still a YouTube consumer, right? So I was watching people like Kyle Kalinske and the Young Turks, all this big like lib stuff, like lib as fuck, right? And I didn't realize that there were like small content creators doing the same shit. So I was into that. 2018, 2019 rolls around. I decide I want to throw my hat in, with still kind of no sense of direction, mainly just streaming video games, but talking about politics while playing video games with no schedule, just going live when I feel like it and hoping people will find me. And it wasn't until COVID happened, 2020, that I decided to actually make a schedule and start streaming on schedule and double down and focus on being a streamer, Young Turks are union busters and call themselves progressive. Yeah. Hassan has addressed that criticism a few times, but anyway. So, and this is where I explain how I even became a part of this space, right? The part of the Twitch politics debate bro space, unfortunately. So, coming out of 2020, coming out of 2021, or coming into 2021, I was under the impression that unless you had very specific politics, right? Like unless you were a super lib or a conservative or something like that, unless you have very middle of the road, super agreeable politics, you would not be successful just doing politics, right? Because a lot of the shit that, as we can demonstrate now, a lot of the shit that Destiny and like Vosh and so on and so forth say is not terribly outside of the purview of what is considered acceptable in modern politics. Except people like Vosh have made a spectacle of themselves by having views that are considered quote unquote radical. So my choice was to, you guys know I played Mortal Kombat 11. I said I'm going to be a Mortal Kombat 11 streamer. I saw how Destiny had built his platform off of doing League and being a good League player or whatever. Sonic Fox is a massive inspiration to me. Sonic Fox being one of the best fighting game players on the fucking planet, and always having trans rights and those politics at the forefront of every single conversation that they have, right? So I was like, that's the way right there. I'm going to be a top 10 or at least a top 8 or like top 30 or whatever MK11 competitor. People are going to want to watch me be nice at Mortal Kombat 11, and I'll secretly seep my politics into my streams, and maybe I'll occasionally cover news coverage and stuff like that as time goes on. The bigger I get, when I'm not so afraid of scaring people off. But then January 6th happened, right? And I saw Dylan. I had been watching Dylan for a while, and I was going to go January 6th. I might have met Dylan there, but my mom tested positive for COVID, so I was quarantined for the next 3 weeks after that, including that day. I did lots of live coverage and coverage of the hearings and everything after the fact, but I was still kind of in the mode of what's actually going to get me eyeballs and clicks is my video game, is my gaming, right? Fast forward to September or November of last year, whenever it was, and Fade Runner, because we had been, I wasn't a consistent watcher of Hippy Dippy Roundtable, but I saw it and I liked the concept. I thought it was cool. Of back when I still believed in the whole debate thing, I thought it was cool. Like, yeah, have some what I thought were leftist voices on there, right? Even though I hadn't become cognizant of a lot of the issues that I talk about, a lot of lower follower count and Black and BIPOC streamers talk about now, right? Not really fully aware of that yet. So Danabo is posting or tweeting about we were doing hippy dippy recruitment. So Fade Runner saw it and was like, yo, you should hop on this. This will be perfect. This is the way for you to get on with your politics and stuff. People need to see what you have to say. So I was like, bet. Hit him up. Put me on. First panel was about Kyle Rittenhouse. I said, bet. That's going to be that's an easy home run for me, right? Don't be sorry, Fade Runner, because I took this upon myself. I accept this is my cross to bear. And this is why I'm even talking about this in the first place, right? Is because as much as I harp on debate bros and that culture and how shitty it is, the first thing people are going to ask is, well, then why the fuck were you on Hippy Dippy recruitment? This is me explaining my mindset, right? So, first panel, shout out to Alec Gunter. Follow Alec Gunter on Twitch if you aren't as well. He's also based. He was the only other based person on that panel. Alec Gunter, it was supposed to be, and this is when I realized how incompetent. Maybe that's too harsh a word. I don't know. I don't like how Hippy Dippy is curated and moderated. It's just not adequate to me. But I was under the impression that half the panel will be on the left and half the panel will be on the right, and we would be debating about Kyle Rittenhouse. But what actually happened was everyone fucking dogpiled me and Alec Gunter, because even the leftist, who now identifies as a liberal, I guess now, Stardust, the goofiest fucking person on the panel, and the sock dem on the panel, Double Shine, both were fucking staunchly defending Kyle Rittenhouse, right? To the point where, if asked directly, why was Kyle Rittenhouse there? We'll say, what was Double Shine's quote? Irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Doesn't matter why he was there. Even though the reason why he was there was right-wing vigilantism, right? And it gets into, yeah, thank you, Fade. And it gets into what I was talking about with leftism being, leftism is not a brand that I feel like a lot of people like this are treating it as. Leftism is not a fucking tag for you to put in your bio to get clicks. Leftism is a fucking death sentence, right? The state has made very clear how it feels about people on the far left, right? Both in legal documents and in its actions, where we're looking at, the Catonsville 8, where we're looking at the Black Panther Party for self-defense, whether we're looking at the most recent documents about Antifa, right? The state has made no bones about how it deals with people on the left, right? Just look at the McCarthyism, right, and the yellow journalism from back then. So understand that when you take that upon yourself, right, the reason why it's the ideology of BIPOCs and stuff like that is because we were born with that black mark, pardon the expression. We are the wretched of the earth, right? We are already damned from birth, right? We already have that mark on us. So why not take up arms in that cause? But when white liberals get in the game, it's a fucking spectator sport for them, right? So that's where I'm coming from on this. Of course, CTV was on the fucking panel waving his gun around and shit. We all know he has a little dick. But so that was my reasoning for why I did what I did with my first tweet. And if I can, I'm actually going to go to that thread so I can open it up to show you guys the timeline in real time, right? Because here's what happened. I did a second panel talking about because I was arguing with that dude Dissident Tower, who was also fucking stupid, that I unfollowed. Chronically stupid veteran. Oh, you're talking about comically typical veteran. Yeah, that guy. Hang on. Sheesh, this thread did get fucking crazy. Okay, I found it. All right, so now that you know that, I have clips of, Stardust talking about how questioning why Kyle Rittenhouse was at a riot with an AR-15 loaded up is the same as questioning a sexual assault survivor, why they were at wherever it was they were assaulted, right? We have Stardust with the fucking brain dead idpol. We have Double Shine coming in to say that it's irrelevant why Kyle Rittenhouse was at the protest, was at the riot with a loaded AR-15, even though we see in the aftermath of that event with his appearances on CPAC and shit exactly why the fuck he was there and why he's celebrated, right? And of course we have CTV waving his fucking gun around on screen, right? So I'm assuming, as a person who would do crazy shit like that he would be an advocate for the Second Amendment, himself being a believer in the United States government and a veteran and all that fucking, virtue signaling bullshit. I figured he would be an advocate for a safe gun ownership, responsible gun ownership, for concealed carry and self-defense, seeing as how all three of the people I just mentioned harped on the fact heavily that Kyle Rittenhouse acted completely in self-defense and that him going free would be a win for self-defense, right? And of course I added Destiny's friend as well, because we've all heard Destiny's takes on how rednecks need to go out into riots to shoot people to get them to stop rioting. We know that Destiny loves to fucking say the N-word, right? These types of things. So I tagged him in this as well. And this was very calculated. Very calculated. This tweet was February 11th. Amir Locke was killed, was it February 3rd? Hang on. I want to say either 2nd or 3rd because someone brought it up to me on stream like the day after. It was February 2nd. Okay. So 9 days, a week and 2 days have gone by. It was the 2nd, Freckle. Thank you. And I purposely didn't tweet about it, didn't do anything. I only talked about it on stream because I knew I was going to do this right here, right? Which is tweet this. I said, for tonight's stream, for funsies, we're going to look at some tweets from Star, Original CTV, and Omni Liberals Friends content to get their takes on Amir Locke. I'm going to talk more about police abolition, and we might read some quotes from some Panthers, right? Now, this was... I wanted to act in bad faith here, but this is literally me acting in good faith. This was me giving them an out, right? Because I won't lie to you. When I tweeted this, I had looked at their Twitters and not seen anything remotely mentioning Amir Locke on any of their Twitters, right? So I was functioning under the assumption that they had no idea what the story even was. So I tweeted this to give them an out, right? To see maybe there was something that they did that I had missed on their Twitches, on their YouTubes, whatever. Or you'll notice this time here when I tweeted this, 10:53 a.m., right? What time do I normally stream? 10 p.m. So this was to give them, had they not heard of this event, right? Or had they not talked about it if they had heard about it, This was to give them 11 whole fucking hours to get their shit together, right? So, Fade responds with some cheekiness. Why are you trying to punish chat? I said, punish? This is the pinnacle of Twitch debate. Because everybody loves CTV, right? Best debater in the fucking panel, right? Always. We geeked. And then here's where Stardust goes, Amir Locke, I don't think I've looked into that yet. Naturally. I'll look into that, though. And I say, bet. Because this right here was what I wanted, right? This was what I wanted. I was still going to cook her for not having looked into it. I was still going to say, I'm still going to criticize you for the fact that it's been a week and 2 days and you said all that shit that you had to say about Kyle Rittenhouse, but now currently the most fucking famous example of police brutality in 2022, right? The fact that you don't even fucking know about it, yeah, I'm going to comment on that. But you're at least going to do the work. That much is good. It is to be commended, right? You didn't know, you're going to find out. I said, bet. Nothing more, nothing less. And then, of course, CTV comes in, being CTV, saying, like tweets from Star, I have no idea either. Because, of course, he has no idea. That said, if you're going to be tagging me some shit, the least you can be doing is following. Fucking ridiculous behavior, mate. And I said, I'd really rather not, and both of your responses to this are a large reason why, to be honest. I'm just illustrating a point. Because I was, right? The point being that you all had so fucking much to say about Kyle Rittenhouse, but now, when it comes to Amir Locke, hush mob. You don't even know who the fuck he is, right? And it's been a week and 2 days, and you have no clue who the fuck he even is, right? And I told him that I wasn't ready to give the game away yet. So this, I guess, is my fault. But I was honest. Like, I'm not going to fucking follow either one of you because I don't enjoy your content. And why do I need to be following you to fucking tag you in some shit? Like, people have been tagging me in shit that don't follow me all fucking week since I did this. You think I give a single fuck what any of those people says or does? Absolutely not. So that's where I responded to this kind of crazy, where she said she had been requested to look into Amir Locke, which never fucking happened. Absolutely never fucking happened, right? And I said as much. I was like, I don't recall requesting anything from you, but I appreciate the effort. I can't find the tweet now, but that's literally verbatim what I said. Like, I don't recall requesting anything from you, but I appreciate the effort. They just don't care when it's a black person getting clapped. I'm going to get to that. So then this guy coming out of fucking nowhere with his 28 followers says, wait a second, he calls you out saying he's going to cover your take on Amir Locke when you haven't actually given a take on Amir Locke yet? Interesting. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it, Swing Set Mafia? Very interesting, huh? That the person who had so much to fucking say about Kyle Rittenhouse will wait a week and 2 days to admit that they don't know any fucking thing about Amir Locke. And yeah, that was interesting. And here's someone else giving up Destiny as well. Curious how they're going to review Destiny's take on it when I don't think he's given one yet either. Making big declarations about breaking events is something he tries to steer away from unless it seems obvious to him, like Rittenhouse. Unless it seems obvious to him. It's been a week. It's been 10 days at this point. This is February 12th. It's been 10 fucking days, right? Zip, zilcho, nada, right? The most cut and dry, fucking clear case of police brutality you could possibly fucking imagine. But we need to not talk about breaking events until we know all the details, right? Who else says that? Who says that when you post about events of police brutality that are fucking obvious on Facebook, who comes in to say, but wait a minute, what are the details? What's the context? Right? Who does those things? A very specific kind of person that we all know of, right? And Frackle, you're absolutely correct. Those two things are directly related. Both of you are correct. Those two, it's both. It's little column A, little column B. When you court a white liberal or conservative audience, exactly. He watched the video on stream shortly after the story blew up. He gave a take on it, but said he needed more info on the no-knock. Of course, because Destiny is a fucking bootlicker who needs to just put a clan hood on and stop wasting everybody's time. And I said that. Naturally, because he needs to just put the clan hood on and stop wasting everybody's time. So there was conflicting information about the no-knock floating around. Why in the world would wanting all the details before coming on that be racist in any way? Because no-knock raids are garbage and defending them is bootlicking, fence-walking bullshit. So he wasn't defending no-knock raids through. He has absolutely defended no-knock raids in the past. I am not fucking crazy. I know Destiny has defended no-knock raids in the past. Sheesh. So I want to get to the Sondsol takes, because that's when this shit got truly fucking brainless. Let me just go to my notifications. There's a lot, because a lot of these fucking chuds have been blowing my shit up since Friday now. Ooh, that was good stuff. I don't want to spoil it though, because I'm gonna spin the block on Double Shine's fucking dumbass too. And there's American Nacho's fucking goofy ass. We're gonna spin the block on him too, don't worry. Alright, so this is far back enough now. Because in that conversation, in the course of the conversation I had with Stardust, she'd also implied that I was a fucking idiot and I didn't know about what I was talking about in race realism, because I referenced phrenology when I told her that debating race realists is fucking useless, right? I don't know what I'm talking about, even though I literally watched that specific content when she was in fucking middle school, and all the people that I watched back then who did it back then stopped doing it because they realized it was fucking useless, right? Anyway, there's some fucking dumbass talking about how I support white flight or some shit like that. Let me get to the good stuff. Is Stardust a race realist? No, Stardust is not a race realist. Stardust instead decides that, yes, she platforms their ideas because she debates them, and she thinks that that accomplishes anything aside from exposing people to race realist ideas. We all know that race realism is bullshit. We all know. We've known since black people debunked it when we first fucking got here, right? Race realism is bullshit. And if you need to convince someone that race realism is bullshit, you're wasting your fucking time, right? And I said this: if arguing with race realists accomplished anything, the skeptical heretic would have nipped that shit in the bud a fucking decade ago with fringe elements / the alternative hypothesis on YouTube. Show of hands for people familiar with these names. I had a typo there, but okay, here we go. I was going back and forth with people, and this is when I cooked CTV. He said, I think it's hilarious that someone would miss a word in their own sentence while also attempting to boast about the command of their language. And I said, I think it's hilarious that you openly tell everyone how small your dick is by waving a gun around on camera, but you have no clue who Amir Locke is until the black anarchist dummy makes you aware, because you are a grifting tool bag. I meant to say tool bag, but I said toolbar. He said, where are you from again? And I said, why? You gonna come shoot me? Better men have tried and failed, because as stated previously, I have been involved in actual, real-life anti-fascist work. He said, wow, that's part of your problem right there. And I said that I didn't feel like responding to a question you could have found your own answer to in my Twitter bio. Pardon the snark. Like, it literally says in my bio that I'm a black worker in Baltimore. I have a giant fucking Baltimore County flag behind me. The background photo on my Twitter is the Inner Harbor skyline, and my background photo on my Twitch is the Baltimore City flag that has the Baltimore City seal in the middle of it that literally says City of Baltimore on it. Like, he was trying to do some weird fuckery with this question. I wasn't going to give it to him. So that was CTV. When I'm trying to find when Sondsol got involved, because he's fucking stupid. 'Cause American Nacho's dumbass. I don't even want to talk about American Nacho. We all know he's fucking stupid. He still might have a shit view on black people while not being. Oh, we were talking about fucking. We were talking about Vosh there. I'm not going to talk too much shit about Vosh. I got into an argument about Tom Brady. I'm going to just Oh, these people might have straight up blocked me. He might have blocked me, which is funny to me. Anyway, here's Double Shine. Okay, yeah, here we go. Oh yeah, here was when things got fucked up, right? So Stardust covered it. Apparently. I guess. I'm not going to look at it and I don't care to, but I guess she covered it. How good that coverage is, who knows? Whether or not she made links available to the fund where you can donate and send money to Amir Locke's family, I highly fucking doubt it. But she did the bare fucking minimum. She did what I asked, what I wanted to happen, right? And this guy said, yeah, but he called you out on your take before you even announced you'd be giving a take on it, which is kind of weird, unless I'm just crazy and getting the timeline mixed up. And I said, maybe she'd have known about it if she wasn't too busy talking to race realists for no reason, aside from content, of course. And then I had to be snarky. This dude was like, literally everything a creator does is content. And I was like, okay, if a person calls themselves a baker, they probably wouldn't be making shoes. And if they had more shoes in inventory than cakes and pies, you'd have questions, right? This is referring to the fact that Stardust refers to herself as a liberal now, right? Which is on brand for this conversation. But before, she referred to herself as a leftist. So you don't defend right-wing vigilantism as a leftist. You just don't. You're literally defending why you yourself should be killed, right? So then I posted this, Rittenhouse Simps when it's time, blah, 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 blah. People are like, any chance you guys can make up and be friends again? Which was weird to me, right? Because I was like, I don't have right-wing friends and I'm not taking applications. And Stardust says, I thought we were friends till all this baloney. And I said, I don't even know who you are. Which is true. I don't fucking know Stardust. I don't know her name. I don't know where she lives. I don't know where she's from. All I know is she's Daisy on fucking Twitch, polling about how anytime anything negative happens to her remotely or anytime she looks fucking stupid, it's everybody hates her because she's a woman and Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong. And she's on Twitter making rape jokes and shit. And just, she's a fucking silly person that you should not take seriously for anything. You like how she started off as leftist, but after all this talking to Nazi shit, she's a liberal now? Very telling? Yeah. Well, we'll see. You shouldn't even defend it if you're a liberal, but liberals are stupid? Yeah, liberals are fucking stupid. Malcolm X warned us about liberals. The wolf and the fox. The term friend and feigning friendliness gets thrown around the debate scene way too much? Absolutely. And I'm here to tell you all, I'm not your fucking friend. You don't know me. You don't know shit about me or my history or where I've been through aside from what I've told you. Right? And I don't fucking know y'all. This is a parasocial relationship. You guys are cool. I appreciate and love you for supporting me. And hopefully one day we might be able to become friends if I make my rounds and meet you all in real life and we click and chop it up and do things together. But we are not fucking friends. I don't know you and you don't know me, right? So then that's when Sondsol took it upon himself to come in and say, this has been one of the most embarrassing threads I've ever read. You literally tagged her first and admitted you talked to them on stream. And he didn't understand why I did this. People have been coming to this thread to self-report since Friday, so this was nothing new to me. Mind you, this is at February 13th at this point. So this is a full 2 weeks. I'm sorry. This is a full 11 days after Amir Locke shooting. Right? So this is when I knew what was about to happen at this point, and I called this. Because this is something I've been calling out for the last little while, and something lots of people have called out. People like T1J, people like FD Signifier, right? I knew, just like with the Professor Flowers and Voss situation, that instead of the message, right, instead of the important part, that there was a black man killed in cold blood. They were instead going to try to drama farm me and make me look silly and do all kinds of quote tweets and clips and all kinds of shit to me, right? All the time that they could be spending talking about Amir Locke, they are going to spend going back and forth with me, right? And I knew this and I called this out. And I wasn't ready to give the game away yet, but we'll see what happens. So I responded to that with, fam, I don't know any of you. We're streamers. My definition of the word friend is very tight. Everything I did was calculated, not pressed on what white liberals think. Go ahead and Professor Flowers me. Message was heard loud and clear by the people it was meant for, which is true. Not a single bit of that was incorrect. Not a single bit of that was false. Not a single bit of that was cap. His response, or no, he did this. So LMAO, the only reason anybody Professor Flowers you people is because you all, to a man, either suck shit at communicating your ideas or your ideas just suck shit. Either way, get good. Okay. 0 follower, 1 follower, 1 following, fucking. Oh, I know who this is because guess who they're following? Look who they're following. Following 1, Elon Musk. Fuck out of here. I'm not responding to you. So then he quote tweeted me instead of just replying to me. He said, dude is acting like he's playing 4D chess when he's actually playing Candyland. LMAO, maybe if you want to pretend you weren't baiting, don't at the people you were going to talk shit on. And this was very telling to me. This is when I knew he was going to do this because he didn't understand that I was holding is Elon Musk's alt account. Probably. Lol. But he didn't see this as me holding people with their platforms, people who want to defend gun rights, people who want to defend self-defense rights, right? People who want to call themselves leftists or sockdem's or whatever. Matter of fact, let me do this. Dumbass. Right? Right? Why those people had so much to say about Kyle Rittenhouse, right? While Kyle Rittenhouse was such a lightning rod fucking thing for them, they felt like they needed to talk about, but crickets for Amir Locke. And me holding people accountable for that is me baiting people so I can talk shit, right? Because that's how they view this entire sphere. Like I said, this is not a life and death situation for them. This is a fucking spectator sport. Leftism is a brand for them. It's something they can put in their bio to get some stray BuzzFeed clicks, right? This man said, people have been replying to that thread for half a week. So I said, yep, what were your thoughts on Amir Locke out of curiosity? I've been directing people to my pinned tweet. And for those of you who don't know, my pinned tweet at this point for like 3 days had been a link that Aston Mack had posted to Amir Locke's Family's Fund that you can and should send money to right now, right? And Double Shine couldn't wait to tell on himself. I said, what were your thoughts on Amir Locke? He said, I don't care, LMAO, I'm playing Lost Ark all week. And this is where I fucking teabagged Double Shine. I fucking destroyed Double Shine, right? I say, thanks for confirming my assessment of you too, broski. So I say, maybe don't quote tweet when you want. Maybe don't quote. Thank you, Frackle. Maybe don't quote tweet when you can just reply to try to control the narrative, my dude. I can see how you would think valid criticism is quote unquote talking shit. To which he replies, what's the narrative, my dude? And at this point, I realized what was happening, and I was so locked in and tuned in because I know white people, especially these debate bro fucking idiots, literally can't help themselves, right? So I gave the game away at this point. I straight told him what was happening. That you'd rather do things for content, up to and including drama farming other black content creators, instead of talk about things that actually matter. How off am I? Let's see who liked that. It's very interesting who liked that. Weird. To which he replied, proof of me doing this, which was the most fucking hilarious thing ever. Because, like I said, literally at this point, that link to Amir Locke's memorial fund for the GoFundMe had been on my pinned tweets for 3 days, right? I said, depends. Did you respond to my other tweet about Amir Locke? Because some might say you're literally doing it right now. He said, you think this is drama farming? I haven't even asked to talk on stream yet. I said, because you know I'll tell you to get fucked and finished. And this is another thing we like to do with black content creators. is say, because you're obviously not mentally well, going around demanding people prove their knowledge about a dude that died. Inviting you on would be ableist, right? We gotta fucking talk about how black content creators talking about black issues and wondering why people who had so much to say about issues that are directly related to black people in this instance are not talking about black people, right? He said himself, Amir Locke is just a dude that died, right? Black people get killed by cops every fucking day. Nobody cares, right? Just a dude that died. Who cares? I'm demanding people prove their knowledge when I literally never at any point in this conversation did that, right? I literally said, I want to see your content. Now, a normal person, what I would have done in that instance is say, oh shit, I have not made any content on this. Let me do that, right? That's how you win. That would have been the S tier ending, right? That's how you beat the game. That's how you 100% the game, right? But we decided to instead go full renegade, right? We went full renegade, 100% renegade. We got the D tier ending, right? All the fucking hostages been sacrificed, whatever, right? So here's what I said. Asking people who defended Kyle Rittenhouse as defending himself why they had no clue who Amir Locke was certainly was ableist. I knew you bozos had debate brain like 3 months ago. I apologize for that. You gonna share my pinned tweet or keep hard chatting with me? And I'm giving you an out. I'm giving you an out every fucking time. At any point, you could choose to stop engaging with me, look into the Amir Locke thing, go into that, and realize, oh shit, this is important. Let me cover this. Let me share the memorial fund, right? Because this is shit I'm sure they all did for George Floyd. When it was bandwagon time, I'm sure they were with George Floyd. And if they weren't, that should tell you something about them too, right? Anyway, he says, you're not the manager of my Twitter account. I'm not retweeting anything at your demand. And I say, it's not at my demand. It's the right thing to do. But all you care about is content because leftism is a brand to you, so I'll put it how you might understand. You are devaluing the brand. And let me explain this to you, right? Someone like me or kids who are interested in leftism, they want to get involved, they want to get active in their communities, they want to do stuff like Food Not Bombs, that people that want to get involved and could find areas where they are useful, come on and see Sondsol and Stardust and Double Shine and say, fuck leftism, these people are fucking goofy. And they find themselves a man without a country again, right? So, and like I said, sharing at this point, especially having done everything that Sondsol has done at this point, and his back and forth with me, sharing Amir Locke's memorial fund would be the right thing to do. That would be redemption. That is how you begin your redemption arc, right? What did he choose to do instead? Let's see. Oh, he deleted his tweet. Oh, no, never mind. It's not at my demand. I'm just saying, unless you retweet me, you're a bad person. Fuck out of here. I'm not a socialist either, so another swing and a miss there, buddy. I said, it's not my tweet, dummy. And then I said, you're a white liberal. You were a piece of shit before I became aware of your ilk, and you'll be one until you get non-cowardly worldviews. And I've already explained how white liberals are fucking cowards. At best, you want the same things that I want, but you aren't willing to put in the necessary work to get them. You'll just let people like me go out there and fight and die to do it while you fucking vote and hope people like AOC and Bernie Sanders give you the crumbs of the fucking wealth that the people in power have fucking stolen from us, right? And worst case scenario, you're a fucking Dave Rubin, right? You're a fucking, and I'm going to get into that in specificity because, like I said this on Kevin FM's panel. Shout out to Kevin FM. My work doing IRL anti-fascism has made me extremely fucking cynical because one of the tactics that fascists will use in lone wolf stochastic white supremacy, right? Like Tom Metzger has instructed them to do, he says, grow your hair out, right? Pretend like you're the biggest liberal, N-word loving person on the planet, right? Until you can find yourself in a position of power, right? Some kind of level of state power, maybe, perhaps we'll say, until you get a large platform where you can disseminate ideas that people won't question. So that's a tangent. I'll show you that interview in a second. But yeah, you are a liberal, you're a fucking coward. So that's when he quote tweeted me and said, damn, this dude didn't even know what white liberals were. This dude didn't even know about white liberals until recently. I don't think anyone should be listening to him about politics. And the fact that it has 5 likes, this is what we're talking about. The most disingenuous possible interpretations of people's arguments, right? Because you spend all your fucking time talking to race realists and conservatives and so on and so forth, and you don't talk to black people. You don't talk to people like me. You don't have black friends, except maybe like Sharky, who admitted, whatever. You don't talk to enough of us from a different walk of life, so you just want to fucking debate brain everyone, right? This guy is why we never need to fully ban the R slur, of course. Naturally, this guy is out here dropping R slurs. And, yeah, weird. Real weird. Mad Lad follow. A lot of people follow this guy. Real weird. I will never understand, like what Frackle was talking about, this need to pretend like we're all friends and we all support each other and we all need to follow and follow back and shit. I'm not one of y'all. I'll tell y'all up front, readily, immediately. I am not one of you. I'm not in Twitch politics. I'm not in Twitch debate. I am completely fucking separate from all of you because all of you do goofy shit like this right here. And you're all fucking equally guilty because you either do it or you watch people in your immediate vicinity do it and you don't call it out because you're afraid you will miss out on opportunities. So I quote tweeted him and said, imagine openly admitting you're a white liberal to the guy who incessantly talks about the Panthers and Malcolm X in a conversation about police brutality against blacks, no less. Why does anyone follow this guy again? To which there was a lot of stuff there. Let's go back to Double Shine's dumbass. Because Double Shine was a fucking moron too. Bro, if that's the right thing to do, then I'd rather be wrong. Homie, leftism is about trying to make altruism guide your policy making. Saying someone should do X or else they're not a real Y is sus as fuck, especially when Y actively and obviously favors you the most. Josie Diet Socked him. I will respond to this guy. So, Double Shine said, people have been replying to that thread for half a week, LMAO. I said, yep, what were your thoughts on Amir Locke out of curiosity? I've been directing people to my pinned tweet. So, I don't care, LMAO, I'm playing Lost Ark all week. And so, I just screenshotted that because, you literally just saying, I don't care. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Oh, and there's this guy that fucking accused me of being transphobic because I called him a white guy because he's a white guy, and then naturally hit me with the R slur in the same sentence that he was calling me transphobic, which is a fucking hoot. let me very quickly pull up. Hang on. Oh, I'll just go to Double Shine's fucking, because I'm sure he hasn't tweeted shit. Because this was the screenshotted. I only came for 3, but I'll take whoever else wants to self-report. Him talking about how he doesn't care about Amir Locke, but he has Social Democrat in his bio. Says sock them is win no video games. To which I responded, yep, as a real leftist, you will find 0 video game content on my channel. LMAO. You can do both. Prioritize. And I guess he didn't even read the second half of my tweet, because his response to that was, it is truly revealing that your purity test of leftists is not playing video games on stream. Right? Which made every time I speak, it goes right over his fucking head, because he's not. This is the problem with you debate bro pieces of shit. You're not listening to understand. You're listening, waiting to fucking respond for a dunk, for a quick gotcha, for that nice clip, right? For some clickbait. To which I responded, hey, dumbass, I'm not purity testing anyone. I'm literally one of the best Jax players on planet fucking Earth, right? I'm not purity testing you. I'm questioning you. Why the fuck would you respond with, I don't care, I'm playing video games, when asked your opinion about Amir Locke? And he said, I don't know, man. Go reread your own tweet if you can't figure it out. To which I responded with this tweet. You talking about this one? That you rather do things for content up to and including drama farming other black content creators instead of talk about things that actually matter. How off am I? He never responded to that. And he still hasn't said anything about Amir Locke, because Double Shine is a fucking idiot. And I'm sure this will change soon once he sees this. But so that's that pretty much. There's more that's not worth talking about. You guys can go and look and see the American Nacho shit. And it's at this point I gotta say, I'm done talking about CTV. We know what time CTV is on. Excuse me. We know what time CTV is on. We know what CTV is. It's patently obvious. It doesn't need to be stated. What's understood doesn't need to be said, right? CTV is a fucking chud, right? He doesn't give a fuck about black people. And here's why I have to say this. I don't give a fuck if you are an overt racist or if you are just a racially insensitive person who refuses to introspect, because the impact you have on the world is exactly the fucking same, right? Exactly the same. Shakespeare said, I prefer rogues to fools because at least rogues rest. I would much rather deal with straight up neo-Nazis, right-wingers who will say it with their chest, as opposed to people who will just beat around the bush, because I at least know where I stand with those people, right? It's just I don't feel like anyone benefits. Like, it's entertaining for sure. It's fun. It's comedy for us to talk about how fucking stupid CTV is, but it's not giving anything. It's not educational. No one benefits from it at the end of the day. Same thing with Stardust, pretty much. Like, it should be fairly obvious at this point that she has no fucking clue what she's talking about at any point in time. Same thing with Destiny. Just I want to get out of the talking about other streamers shit. I want to call out people who are obviously grifting, right? Or grifting. I want to call out people who are obviously grifting, but I don't want to engage in the same shit that they're doing. I don't want to do this streamer drama shit. I'm only talking about this now because a lot of you people's first introduction to me was seeing me on a panel with them, right? So, and I got to call out Destiny because he's one of the biggest fish in the space. So, I don't really feel I need to say anything about American Nacho. I don't need to make an ass of him. He will do that all by himself, with his accusing me of specifically only talking about race all the time when he literally has Mexican in his fucking bio, right? It's just, these people are fucking silly. Sondsol is a fucking moron. doesn't know his ass from his elbow politically. Probably still hasn't said shit about fucking Amir Locke, but he's on some fucking panel talking with a bunch of other fucking dumbasses about some more irrelevant shit. Let's take a peek just out of curiosity. Nope. Still hasn't said shit about Amir Locke. Not a word. Not on his Twitter. Maybe he's made some content. Oh, but he's responding to Lauren Southern, though. That's important, right? Very important. Crucial. He's fucking retweeting Sock Done Left. Fucking dog. He loves the drama. He'll talk about the drama all fucking day. You feel me? But when it comes to supporting things that people actually fucking benefit from, because it's not even just a black issue. Let's not get it twisted, right? That could have happened to anyone. That specific thing could happen to anyone. This is a police issue. This is a police power issue, right? Which should interest you even as a liberal, right? Even as a conservative. But because it's a black dude and black people get clapped by police all the time, who gives a fuck, right? This man Sondsol, I'm not going to comment on that because it might be a joke. Who knows? He's got a little chauvinist shit over his face or whatever, but this dude Sondsol is a fucking tool. But yeah, that's the drama. Is that he didn't realize that I actually was playing 4D chess. And he inserted himself into the game just to fucking lose in 3 moves. Right? Because, like I said, off of the initial tweet, right? My initial tweet, adding CTV, Stardust, and Destiny's Friend, right? The move from there could have just been, let me put out some content. Let me learn about this and put some content out on it, right? Because if you Google that shit in 5 seconds, you can understand why it's important, right? It's even worse than it happens all the time. People are so conditioned to the white framing and propaganda that they instinctively go through the mental hoops of creating excuses for and rationalizing black people getting killed. Yeah, including when they are literally a prime example of the exact fucking thing you were trying to defend when we're talking about a dumbass white boy going out there to do right-wing vigilantism and kill some fucking BLM rioters, right? This is a man who had no criminal record, legally licensed to carry, had a concealed carry permit, was a stellar member of his community, just asleep in a friend's house with his gun in position, a way that anyone who owns a firearm would do, right? And they fucking killed him for no reason. Had a key to the apartment, busted in, right? Didn't alert anyone, just crept in. Now, you wake up and suddenly there's a bunch of strangers in your place. You can't see shit because they got flashlights in your face and shit. You just wake up to a shitload of people in the place kicking your couch, right? Of course you're going to grab your pistol. Of course. And if you look in the footage of Amir Locke, his fucking responsibility with a firearm was so great. His trigger discipline was so great. His finger was not even on the trigger when they fucking shot him and killed him. He did exactly what we all learn as firearm owners. You verify your target before you start shooting. The training that the police apparently don't get, right? They don't need to be responsible firearm owners. They don't need to be lawful firearm owners, but that gets placed on us and it doesn't fucking matter anyway because they'll just bust in our house and kill us, right? So, yeah, man. I'm probably going to end on that note because I'm tired as fuck. It was a long day. I was going back and forth with a lot of these goofies on Twitter. Fucking, yeah. Yep, when it's a black person, especially white people, are reflexively conditioned to go through a laundry list of justifications for their murder. On the flip side, when it's a white person doing a shooting or whatever, the same people are conditioned to come up with all the excuses to forgive the behavior, to humanize them, etc. The same scrutiny is extended before an opposite effect. Exactly. Yeah, no problem, Frackle. I appreciate you coming through and supporting me and throwing your 2 cents. And Frackle, you have a talent. You have a knack for succinctly gathering my ideas. You and Aston Mack are very similar in that you guys are fucking amazing orators. Like, you guys are fucking awesome, like, speakers. You feel me? Aston, he's mad more poetic. You guys are both very vivid speakers, but in different ways. Aston Mack is more poetic, I feel like, which is like, Aston is a powerhouse. Yes, I would fucking march into battle behind Aston. Aston is a fucking G. Shout out to Aston Mack. I know I already plugged him before, and shout out to Bink Princess. Shout out to Paradigm Shift. If you haven't already, please go back and watch. Go to Katarana. Shout out to Katarana. Go to her YouTube or her Twitch, and please watch our panels on our Black History Month panels because they're very informative and it's important. Cock Too Big 69. I really hope you're not in here to say goofy shit, but welcome. That's a funny name. I hope it's funny for a good reason, though. Best fucking panels on Twitch, no lie. See, I don't know. Like, it's weird for me to... I guess this is just imposter syndrome on my part, but it feels like for me, I'm just up here rambling and shit. But I'm really happy that people have been enjoying the panels, that people appreciate them. But more importantly, I'm glad that we have... So where does everyone stand here politically? I'm a black anarchist. My politics are influenced in terms of theory. The simplest thing I could relate them to is Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. But my political theories and actions are more dictated by the experiences and writings of the Black Panther Party here in America, as well as several other black anarchists like Kwazi Belagoon, Lorenzo, Eddie Conway specifically. Eddie Conway is a big influence on me. Yeah. Let me put it this way. I actually learned stuff. Yeah, I want to do educational stuff. That was the goal. But first and foremost, I am happy that... I was just telling my mom this. I'm happy that there is actually a space now for not just black creators, because there's black creators in the space. We have Sharky, you know what I mean? We have Prime Kais, we have Trihex, we have Mythic, all these other people who stream while black, right? But we don't have any black streamers, if that makes sense. We don't have there's not a large audience for people like me. There's not a large audience for black anarchists. There's not a large audience for black communists, right? We have to fight tooth and nail to build those audiences. Whereas people like fucking Double Shine and Sondsol can just come in the game, riding the coattails of people like fucking Destiny and just get on and have 2,000 fucking followers immediately, right? And that's what I'm happy that we have, is that now we have a space for us and a way for us to grow our following. Alex from the panel last night was so happy that his follows and stuff for his art and everything. He's a fucking amazing artist and he has amazing things to say. But no one, if he said a lot of the shit that he wanted to say in these spaces, what would happen? Motherfuckers like Sondsol, whoever, will call him fucking crazy, tanky, crazy lefty, isolationist, black supremacist, all this shit like they did with Professor Flowers. And this gets into why people call these people fucking feds, right? Because you might not be doing it intentionally, but you are part of the ratchet effect. Every time you make a black content creator look foolish, you are removing their voice from the milieu of the political content and the political conversation. That's literally what you're doing. When you make all this fucking clips to fucking dunk on people or whatever, your audience is seeing them and marking them as a fool. As a fool, right? I can go on Twitter right now and find no shortage of people making fucking Black Hitler references and shit to Professor Flowers, right? As if there was a Black Nazi Germany and a Black Third Reich and a Black Holocaust, right? Just completely fucking debate brainwormed people. And let me play you on that note the reason why I don't fucking trust white liberals who do low-key racist shit. Right? And I want to explain that much to Vosh. That's where it comes from. And a lot of these like people like all these streamers and such, this is why the far communists call you agents. Is because you're doing agents' work. White liberals are the most racist people I know. Yes. Yes. Malcolm X talked about the wolf and the fox, right? And that's what was so fucking crazy about Sondsol talking about MLK Jr. Because MLK Jr. specifically warned us about white liberals too. I don't know if that was a self-report and Sondsol straight up saying, yeah, I don't give a fuck about black people. Or if he legitimately thought he was dunking, or like I don't know. I can't tell. I have to assume the worst because it's a life or death situation for me, right? Let me see if it's in this clip. Sorry, I have to find it because I can't remember exactly which clip on YouTube it is. I'll just show you these whole things. I'll just start from the beginning so you can see them. I've shown these before, but you guys need to see them so that you understand when I say I've been involved personally in actual meat space, IRL, anti-fascism work. You need to see what I'm talking about. And I'm not just talking about the KKK over in Frederick County, because that's a thing too. I've had my dealings with those people over there. But I have this shit in my backyard. Literally. And we're gonna take a look at it. Whoops, I muted it. Sorry, I'm silly. Sondsol was right. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, here we go.
Their goals are ambitious. Overthrow
exactly, Frackle. You were 100% correct.
Segregated nation and put the white race firmly in control. They are the racist skinheads, and their numbers are increasing.
Well, yeah, we are haters. You know, we do hate you. It's time to leave and get out of our face, or you're going to suffer the consequences.
Their recruitment techniques are both powerful and far-reaching. Leaving behind the conventional uniform, they've learned to blend into mainstream society to attract new recruits.
You know, we had a run with the skinhead thing, and it was fun. But then I said, well, it's time, go to college, get a good education, get as high as you can in industry, military, police, whatever you can do, and wait.
And they know how to utilize some of the best pulpits available today.
Yeah.
Music and the internet.
Yeah.
And many of America's youth are listening.
Yeah.
Kids are vulnerable. They're impressionable. You can give them a worldview at that stage in life that they will act on pretty convincingly for a long, long time.
Now, what do you think the average age is of people who consume and watch Twitch debate and Twitch politics content? Just take a wild guess.
I mean, any cult recruits at that age.
Online, the racist skinheads often code their messages to create an in-group of knowing people. RAHOA stands for Racial Holy War. 1-4 signifies the 14 words that stand for the racist skinhead main mission. To symbolize Heil Hitler, they use a numeric code based on the 8th letter of the alphabet, H8.
Do I have numbers? Are you asking if I have numbers to combat this specifically with? You don't need numbers to be an effective fighter. I might talk about guerrilla fighting at some point, and insurrectionism, but that a lot of that shit is TOS, so I might do that behind like a Patreon or something, but we'll see.
Is coded as 88.
White supremacists are very visually oriented. I mean, you can think back to the Third Reich and how visually oriented the Nazis were. They want people to notice those symbols, and they're designed to cause fear.
Since the internet can reach an unprecedented number of people in an instant, these websites are where racist skinheads can influence alienated youth.
You search on, Adolf Hitler.
Take a guess. Oh, like, so I don't actually have the numbers. For me, it's definitely, yes, early 20s, late teens, early 20s. Males, late teens, early 20s. That's what it is in my demographic, right? As rich as my political content is, that's my demographics. So I can only imagine what a lot of these fucking white liberals, conservatives look like.
You search on Nazism, you get a lot of modern day Nazi websites. They start telling you, you think this way, but here's the truth. Your parents are lying to you, the government's lying to you, and they start brainwashing you. You start talking to them on a regular basis, and, you start believing the rhetoric.
The other major vehicle for recruitment is music.
Culture, and music in particular, is a way to reach the ears, if not the hearts, of new generation, because it's the music of rebellion. It's the music of telling your parents off, telling society off. It's the music of expressing adolescent rage.
Record companies like Label 56 are impacting America's vulnerable.
I want to say Label 56 is defunct now, partially due to the work that I put in, but they were based here in Maryland, out Joppa, about 20 minutes from here.
Audience.
Probably our most popular genres right now are hardcore and metal. That's more or less like hitting someone over the head with a 2x4 to get the message across.
What's my stance on abortion? People should have the right to choose. Reproductive rights belong to people with uteruses, and I don't have one of those, so I don't have the right to have an opinion on abortion. I don't have a stance on abortion. Ask someone with a uterus. But yeah, Candace, sheesh. Yeah, Candace is sexy as hell, for sure.
The lyrics are very shocking, they're very brutal, but sometimes that's what it takes to awaken a young kid.
Label 56 claims to run the second largest white power label in the U.S., selling thousands of CDs every year to an international audience.
It really doesn't concern us too much who gets our material. Obviously, our material is available to the public. Books don't kill people, movies don't kill people, music doesn't kill people, and guns don't kill people. People kill people.
With violence at the core, the racist skinheads' message of racial pride continues.
And that's what they always say, right? When they're literally doing racial agitprop, is that no, none of this is free speech. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. We're doing conflicting ideas, right? Opposing ideas. You don't want to live in an echo chamber, right? You need to hear these ideas.
To spread to a growing audience.
We're in the 21st century, but there's these folks who want to take us back to the 19th century and reinforce all the bigotry that's been the root of the problem for so many centuries by not letting us move past racism.
From secret codes to aggressive lyrics in metal music, racist skinheads are finding more and more ways to promote their message and fuel their revolution.
And let's do the other one that'll tell you more about this person. Because this one is important.
With its emphasis on aggression, violence, and...
This gym that you're seeing, this gym on the screen right now, is 20 minutes from me. I could get in my car right now and be in the spots you see on your screen in 20 minutes.
Loud music. The racist skinhead subculture can be attractive to young men.
All right, next thing we're going to break into, you're going to need a partner for this. We're going to work on securing a basic Muay Thai clinch and throwing knees. This is real devastating for either in the ring or in the street, especially devastating in the street. I come in...
Based in Baltimore, the Maryland Skinheads, or MDS, preach loyalty to one's brothers in the...
Where did he say they were based? Where did he say they were based? Let's run it back. Where did he say they were based again? We can run that one back.
In the street, especially devastating in the street. I come in...
Based in Baltimore, the Maryland Skinheads, or MDS...
Now, what people don't understand is, when you say Baltimore, like I said earlier, there's Baltimore County and there's Baltimore City. I live in Baltimore County. This gym is also in Baltimore County.
MDS preach loyalty to one's brothers in the group and devotion to the white race.
Shoot my arm through.
Membership requires conforming to the group's commandments,
Stand up. Head stomp.
including those about accepting the skinhead's warrior role. Jason Tankersley leads the statewide organization.
Physical fitness, the ability to defend yourself, it's all terribly important to us.
I have been in the same room in this man. I have been close enough. I did this last time we did this. I'm gonna put my face on camera and I'm gonna zoom in so you can understand me and look me in my eye when I say this. Ready? This man that I'm showing you on screen, I have been close enough to him to smell him. That's how close enough that we've been to each other. So when I say to you, I have done IRL fascist, anti-fascist work, this is what I'm talking about. And I can show you a few pictures after we get done with this. Just hang out for a minute.
Terribly important to us. It's constant self-improvement.
These are men, especially young men, who feel like the old John Wayne notion of masculinity has been taken away. It's been taken away by feminism, by liberalism, by people who are taking away their manufacturing jobs, which is usually seen as, some type of Jewish conspiracy. So they're reclaiming it the best way that they can conceptualize, which is through this intense, violent culture.
Something like that, Alex.
Tankersley will not disclose exact membership numbers, but says his crew has more than tripled since it began and continues to grow.
Both of those things are true. They have a decent amount of numbers. You can see the Maryland flag back there. They have a decent amount of numbers. They still ain't got enough, though.
Tankersley is cautious about who joins the club.
I look for, basic physical conditioning. They have to be a tough individual because that is the type of club we are. Again, we're not just a political organization. So that's very important. And also, sacrifice. They have to show that they're willing to sacrifice for the club.
And this is why I say this debating race realists, this shit is fucking stupid. You're not going to fucking debate someone like this, right? If you're a fucking sock dem, you're not going to vote this person away, right? Get your fucking head in the game.
The men attend regular training sessions and wait a year before becoming full-fledged members. Tankersley uses this time to weed out prospects who aren't truly dedicated to the cause.
If I can everybody quiet down, come on in here.
Today,
y'all dumbasses, you motherfuckers are sitting on Twitter, on Twitch panels, fucking debating. You know what I'm saying? Listening to fucking biology textbooks so you can talk to people like fucking JF and Lauren Southern because you think those are the most important fucking race realists. Nick Fuentes. We got to dunk on Nick Fuentes today, right? Meanwhile, people like this are training, assembling munitions, assembling firearms, right? Getting into positions of power in politics, right? They're not wasting fucking time debating on Twitch. Do you understand this? Does this make sense to you yet? Am I getting through to you yet? Do you understand the severity of the situation in the country yet? Or are you guys going to keep fucking playing games? Like this is a spectator sport. This is all for fun. This is for content. This is for clips. Get your fucking head in the game.
a recruit named Chris finally becomes a member.
Guy's hard as nails. He's done everything we asked him to do. So now's the day we're going to go ahead and patch him in, make him a full member in the MDS. Chris, you'd like to come on up here? All right, brother. We're going to go ahead and give you this patch. It entitles you to full membership in the MDS. You've done everything to earn it. You've been a great brother and done absolutely everything we could want. Congratulations.
As a brother, Chris is expected to support all group activities and, most importantly, help increase membership.
I should be able to take anyone from the club, put them into an area of the state where no one's living, where there's no skinheads, where there's no activity, et cetera, and within 6 months to a year, they should have a small club started there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the other video really quick to remind you guys of the Tom Metzger quote.
Rebuild as a segregated nation and put the white race firmly.
This type of person will only really go away when the social consequences for being a bigoted dipshit are steeper than any perceived benefit that they're being peddled. Yes, exactly. And this is what I harp on as well. If you're going to be talking to white supremacists, what are you offering them? Right? What are you offering them? Because what they have, what they think they have, is the benefit of white supremacy, white privilege, right? So until you can offer them something that's better than that, they don't give a fuck. Like I said before, it doesn't matter how many fucking biology textbooks you want to fucking read, how much data and fucking articulated points and perfect talking points you come with. The first thing they're going to do as soon as the fucking debate ends is talk with their audience of other racist pieces of shit about how hard they dunked on you. And the more data you bring, the worse it's going to make you look. The harder you fight, the harder you're going to fucking fail. You should only engage with Nazis in combat. And you should only cover them with dirt.
In control. They are the racist skinheads, and their numbers are increasing.
Well, yeah, we are haters. You know, we do hate you. It's time to leave and get out of our face, or you're going to suffer the consequences.
Their recruitment techniques are both powerful and far-reaching. Leaving behind the conventional uniform, they've learned to blend into mainstream society to attract new recruits.
You know, we had a run with the skinhead
Here it
thing,
is.
and it was fun. But then I
Listen
said,
close.
well, it's time to, go to college, get a good education, get as high as you can in industry, military, police, whatever you can do, and wait.
And they know.
And wait. It's called Lone Wolf Philosophy. Tom Metzger, very famous neo-Nazi. He says, pretend to be a liberal. Say whatever you have to say to get into a position of power. And this is why I don't fucking trust these sus-ass people. I'm sorry. I don't want to be your fucking friend. I don't want to make content with you. I don't want to follow you. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to know you fucking exist. Until you come up on my radar as one of these people, right? This is why Malcolm X and them also talked about the white liberal. Because like I said, at best, you're a fucking a BuzzFeed fucking person, right? That's how effective you are. You're fucking BuzzFeed. You have BuzzFeed politics. That's what you are as a liberal. And at worst, absolute worst case scenario, absolute worst fucking case scenario, this is what you are.
You know, we had a run with the skinhead thing, and it was fun. But then I said, well, it's time to, go to college, get a good education, get as high as you can in industry, military, police, whatever you can do, and wait.
Why the fuck? Like I said, these people want to kill us. I don't know how else to fucking put this shit. This shit's not a fucking game. These people are not sitting playing fucking Frostpunk, listening to biology textbooks, getting ready for their big debate with Aston Mack. They are training. They are lifting weights. They are practicing martial arts. They are buying firearms. They are buying bullets. They are giving out free food to the community to win them over. You people are fucking useless. But if I tell you this, I'm clout chasing. To be fair, you've never met a skinhead in your life? That's cool. I've beat up several. So I don't know what to tell you there, Cock2Big69. I'm glad you're fortunate enough that you've never had any run-ins with those types of people. But I'm here to tell you that they exist, they're out there, and they're common. So, yeah.
They know how to utilize some of the best pulpits available today.
They do know how.
Music and the internet.
Yes, yes, this is what I'm talking about. How the fuck am I supposed to tell the difference, right? I'm supposed to take you at your word. I'm supposed to just trust you when you say you don't hate black people? When you say things like, I don't care about Amir Locke? Right? Batman from Batman vs. Superman vibes. If there is even a fucking 1% chance that you could be what I'm seeing on screen, I have to take that as an absolute fucking certainty to protect me, my family, and my community. And that will be read as black separatism, isolationist leftism, woke scold, purity testing, gatekeeping. When it's your fucking fault. You're talking about how you're a liberal. Who else calls themselves liberals? Dave Rubin calls himself a liberal. Neo-Nazis call themselves liberals just to get into positions of power. Right? A neo-Nazi could never call himself a communist because we would smell that shit and kick him the fuck out of there immediately. But because you fucking dumbass libs speak the same language that they speak, use all the same symbols that they use, and engage in all the same political activities that they do, you can't fucking tell. You don't know when a person who regularly uses the fucking N-word is anti-black. You have to make excuses for it, right? Joe Rogan isn't racist. He just said the N-word 30 times because it was a goof, right? Destiny is not racist. He just continues to use the N-word as a goof. Tactical N-word, right? Double Shine, Sondsol, Stardust, CTV, these people are not anti-black, right? They said they don't give a fuck about Amir Locke. They didn't know about Amir Locke, but they went hard for Kyle Rittenhouse because they're just fucking silly, right? It's a joke. It's a goof. Okay, get the fuck away from me. Just because you're fucking stupid does not mean you're not dangerous, right? Never assume malice where ignorance will suffice. But there is some ignorance that is so sufficiently advanced that is indistinguishable from malice, both in terms of perception and impact. Right? This is why people call you guys fucking feds. And now, so you guys know I'm not fucking bullshitting, let me go to Facebook and find some photos of Jason Tankersley. Here we go. Not quite Facebook, but if we zoom in here, whoops. That's what he looks like now. Grew his hair out, grew a beard, covered up his tattoos. He still has a giant fucking honking skull and bones tattoo on his throat because I've seen it because I was close enough to see it. But he's hiding in plain sight. Grow your hair out, grow a beard, cover your tattoos up. Don't talk about neo-Nazi shit. Just settle into a nice little place and wait. Matthew Heimbach here in the middle runs the white student unit from Towson. You may have heard of him, right? You may have heard of him from the Charlottesville riots, right? He was involved in that. This guy here runs Keystone United, which was Keystone Skinheads, Pennsylvania's Skinheads, their neo-Nazi organization. I know what the fuck I'm talking about here, fellas. People. You're acting like I'm just like it's baffling to me how you would pretend just to satisfy your own fucking ego and stroke your own ego that I don't know what I'm talking about because I dared challenge you when it's just silly. This is from 2016. Exile Fitness is the gym he runs. You can Google it. It's still open. Joe Rogan isn't a racist, though? Okay, you're getting timed out for that. It's like, I'm not going to time you out. You should just know that was a fucking stupid statement, though. If Kyle was found guilty, we would have lost the right to self-defense in America? Okay, yeah, you're definitely getting fucking banned now because you're a fucking moron. Before I ban you, though, I'm going to explain to you that black people have literally never had the fucking right to self-defense in America. Why the fuck do you think gun laws even exist in the first place? I'm going to give you this gem before I tell you to say hi to Candace on your way out, right? You should Google the Mumford Act. Matter of fact, I'll do it on screen for you. The Mulford Act, I'm sorry. Not Mumford. I'm thinking of fucking the Mulford Act, right? Because you knew in 1970 about 27% of the world lived in extreme poverty. By 2006, that fallen by 80%. So now it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. We still have people in America who don't have running water in their homes, who have mold and lead in their homes, who don't have fucking electricity, don't have shoes, can't get schooling, don't have access to jobs or anything. There's the school to prison pipeline still fucking exists. The Corrections Corporation of America still fucking exists. We still have slavery. I'm so fucking tired of explaining these basic ass concepts to fucking dumbass liberals like you. It's Black History Month. I'm tired of doing this education for free. So like I said, I'm going to show you this Mulford Act and explain to you why black people have never, will never have the right to self-defense in this country. And then I'm going to fucking ban you because I'm tired of you. If Kyle was found guilty, we would have lost the right to self-defense. What right to self-defense in America? Why ban you? Because you say stupid stuff and you piss me off now. Plenty of black people have legally defended themselves. Look at this, okay? Okay? We are literally, I'm getting so fucking mad now. We are literally only having this conversation because of a mere fucking lock. Did he have a right to defend himself? Sure he did. Is anything going to happen to the police who killed him? Absolutely not. No, I don't fucking believe in the Second Amendment. I'm a fucking anarchist. My right to my firearms does not come from a fucking stupid piece of paper that some slave-owning white men wrote so that they can ensure that they got to keep their slaves. My right to a firearm comes from these right here. These two hands. And the blood and battle of my fucking ancestors. Malcolm X said by any means necessary, and he fucking meant that shit. I don't give a fuck about a right. The fuck are you talking about? Self-defense is not up for debate. Self-defense is not a legal issue. Self-defense is a matter of fucking survival. And if you decide you want to go to a fucking riot with a loaded AR-15 to protect property, you are not doing self-defense. You are doing vigilantism. You are a right-wing vigilante. And black people have never had the right to self-defense in this country. Amir Locke is a prime example, but I'm going to give you another good example. Because I don't know if you know this, but there was a time in America where you could literally take a rifle class in fucking high school. Gun ownership was so fucking common, you could have a class in high school where you shoot guns. But you know what happened with that? Let's read this Wikipedia article. Let's read it. The Mulford Act was a 1967 California bill. In case you were wondering why California's gun laws are so fucked up, notice the year, 1967. The Mulford Act was a 1967 California bill that prohibited public carrying of loaded firearms. Named after Republican Assemblyman Don Mulford and signed into law by Governor of California Ronald Reagan, the bill was crafted with the goal of disarming members of the Black Panther Party who were conducting armed patrols of Oakland neighborhoods in what would later be termed cop watching. They garnered national attention after Black Panthers members bearing arms marched upon the California state capitol to protest the bill. With that said, you should understand that black people in America have fucking never had the right to self-defense. Self-defense has always been a consequence of existing and being in fucking America while black. And on that note, I hope you educate yourself because you are banned now. Get that ass banned. Unfucking believable. I knew he was going to be fucking goofy. That's why I said I saw his name and I was like, I know this dude's going to be a dipshit. Yeah, I hope he does go watch Stardust. I hope he goes to watch CTV or somebody he actually likes, somebody he can agree with. I did introduce them to Candace. I told him to say hi to Candace for me on his way out. But that's all I got. I can't say nothing else. I say this shit over and over again all the fucking time. I can't do this shit no more. I truly cannot. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Absolutely. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm sorry that I didn't do another build stream tonight. I had a headache, and it's worse now. Like I said, I'm gonna try my best not to do the talking about streamers shit anymore. After I say fuck CTV, fuck Sondsol, fuck Stardust, fuck Double Shine, fuck American Nacho, and fuck anybody else who wants to self-report that they don't give a fuck about black people. Like I said before, this space here is a space primarily, first and foremost, for black radicals. If you're not one of those, you are a guest in this space. You can be a nice guest. You can be a welcome, good, awesome guest, like a Frackle or a Big Richie Lizzie or a DC Metal Chris, or any number of the people that have been in here that are cool as fuck that I love and I hope stay, and I love to follow their content and support them as well. Or you could come in, track fucking mud in, make a bunch of fucking noise, and think you own the place and get kicked the fuck out. The choice is yours. So that's all I got. Let me figure out who we're going to raid. Fucking Christ. Who's on? I should be cheeky and raid Sondsol just for the lulz. Should I do that? Would that be hilarious if I raided Sondsol? Because I think he's still alive. Or do you guys want... Nah, I'll raid... Wait. Who's on? No, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I decided against it. I'm not going to do that to y'all. I haven't raided Beer Bash. What's he doing? Let me see. Mad Lad is on and Beer Bash is on. Whoever has been streaming for at least amount of time, I will raid. I want to raid Mad Lad because he's black, but if he's been on for a minute and is about to get off, then he's been streaming for 4. Sheesh, they both been streaming for a brick. Lost Sue is on. I'm not familiar with Lost Sue. It would be, but we can't antagonize him, or it would be considered a hate raid. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't tell you to antagonize him either. Which is fucking crazy because his audience is way larger than mine and he's white and I'm black. But we've already seen how Twitch fucking TOS deals with that kind of shit, so. Radical Indigenous streamer? Word. Let me follow them then. I'll raid them as well. Prisma's all... Yeah, I'm gonna raid Prisma. I'm gonna fucking raid Prisma. I'm gonna just raid Prisma. Prisma's been streaming for 3 hours? Yeah. Let's raid Prisma. Alright, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys Friday maybe, or tomorrow maybe. We'll see. I don't fucking know. I don't know. My head hurts. I can't do this right now. I'll see you guys soon, to say the least. Show Prisma some love. Thanks, y'all.